All right. Well, good Monday evening, everyone. May the 4th be with you if you are so inclined. Heavy Pour Sports, dropping the hammer. Baseball Monday with our friend Tiffany. Tiffany, how are you this evening?
I am pretty good, despite the weekend.
Yes, all things considered, and everything being as it is, about as good as we could have come out of that. I don't even know what to call it anymore. Disappointing. Missed opportunity. A lot of words come to mind, but I guess frustrating too would be appropriate because we seem to be so cyclical and hot and cold and inconsistent, to say the least. But had an opportunity to go up to Lexington and at least win a series, which is probably much needed at this point. I did see that at least Baseball America, it's the one I was able to find, still has us projected in the tournament as a 3 seed in Tallahassee.
All right.
So we'll see what that looks like after this weekend. We do have a 5-game homestand. It'll be the final homestand of the season, hosting Presbyterian tomorrow. Then the Longhorns come to town. And let's see, I forgot. Who is it? We end up Belmont. Yep. Before we take the final destination trip. God, I hope that wasn't foresight. To Oklahoma to take on the Sooners. So at least we have an opportunity to stay unbeaten in midweek games, right? That's a positive we can take out of what's ahead of us.
Yep. I will say, and I don't know if it's my internet that's wonky, but you're kind of breaking up there. But I will say I don't really know what to expect this weekend because we play really well against bubble teams. We don't show up. So I don't know. I have no idea what to expect this weekend.
Yeah. It's like the teams that are above us in the conference standings we compete with and have taken series and swept. And then the teams that are below us in the standings, we fumble the ball and can't seem to get any momentum or any traction. And that was certainly the case Friday and Saturday especially. It's very frustrating to see the lack of offensive output coming from what we had seen and hoped was kind of a turn in the production and the hitting. But when you give up that many runs to Kentucky, I believe, 21 runs the first 2 games we allowed. Just
got run ruled game 2.
Yeah, game 2 was run ruled. So that was a little embarrassing. I can, like the Vanderbilt series, it was frustrating, and I can't stand Peabody, but at least we were competitive, and we were in a position to win each one of those games. It just got, I guess, if luck were truly a factor, the most unlucky I think I've ever seen a team to be walked off 3 straight games. But we were in those games, right? We were never in either of the first 2 games. Not really. No. I mean, early, yes, first couple innings, but by the 3rd, 4th inning in both those games, it was over. And our starters absolutely just didn't have their stuff. Even Sunday wasn't great, but we did manage to at least outscore them and salvage a little bit of a win. But I feel worse about this series going 1-2 than I did against Vanderbilt, dropping all 3.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to expect. I don't know at this point what can be done, what changes can be made. I'm just sort of at a loss with where we go from here. I guess it's popcorn time. I'm just going to sit back and watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly head scratching, and from the hitting perspective, like swinging at the first pitch again and again and again, going down in 0-2 counts. Like not, and if they are going to be competitive this weekend, they're going to have to get the bullpen.
Yeah,
against Texas, and they just, it's like they forget that you know battling. I mean, walking tennis. Now their pitching is good, but it's not that good.
yeah.
Opportunity to go deep in counts because it's just swinging away at nothing. So that's frustrating. From the pitching perspective, I genuinely do not understand some of the decisions that were made this weekend. Saturday, we were only down 2 when Blanco came out. I understand that Krenzel is really good when he's on, but he's not been on since the start of the season. And that was a critical game to just bring Krenzel in just to see, right? Like that decision didn't make sense to me. And then after that, it was just like, oh, well, this one's lost. So might as well just give some of our young guys a chance for some SEC experience. Like it didn't make sense to me. It's not like Appenzeller couldn't have gone on Saturday. He didn't throw that many pitches on Tuesday. So I don't know if Elander is doing the same as what Tony did with Frank and letting Josh Reynolds like decide who's coming out of the bullpen, but the pitching choices over the weekend were shocking. I don't know if Appenzeller's now in his head, and I mean the last 2 weekends he only got 2 outs against Kentucky. So I don't know. It is head scratching, and I wish that I had some insider knowledge to know what was going on, to be like, yeah, this is definitely like a head thing or a pitching coach issue or something, but it was genuinely head scratching.
Yeah. And Brady Frederick is the only he's the only pitcher that didn't give up a run on Saturday.
Yeah.
Blanco got tagged for 6. Krenzel and Haas each gave up 1. Is it Bayoto? Is that how it's pronounced?
I think so.
Yeah. He gave up 4 on 3 hits. And then Frederick got he faced 1 batter. And then what I was really concerned about coming out of Saturday was, I mean, Jelkin pitched the game. They didn't go to a single arm in the bullpen.
No.
And then even on Friday, Boone only faced 2 batters, and then Mullen pitched 2 innings, but he only faced 6. So I was very concerned. Those guys, Boone threw 5 pitches, Mullen threw 23. So,
and I mean, yeah,
they had pretty much everybody at their disposal. So I was very concerned that we were just going to get embarrassingly swept coming off that terrible loss Saturday.
And I mean, even like Saturday, we only had 2 innings. What was that? Sorry.
Oh, no, I didn't say anything.
I
think we might be having some technical
things,
difficulties.
On Saturday, we only had 2 innings where we left runners stranded. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like it's dipping in and out a little bit.
Well, I don't know what's going on. Is that any better?
So far.
Okay. So, I mean, Saturday we only had 2 innings where runners were left stranded, but we only had like 3 innings where we actually had base runners. So
yeah. So a little misleading.
Yeah.
And I guess honestly, the only really, I guess, bright spot, I guess for me, Levi Clark is still staying kind of productive, kind of hot at the plate. Ford to some degree, but we're just getting a lot of terrible at bats, and like you said, just swinging at anything, not getting timely hits, or getting any hits, and then just really struggling. I think scoring runs.
Yeah,
because we're not relying on the long ball, and we can't generate very much offense. We didn't even score Friday until the 8th inning. It was terrible, and had a couple errors.
Situational hitting.
Yeah, just nothing was clicking, and I thought, well, maybe Friday just flush that, come out Saturday. Coons didn't have his best stuff. Clearly, he got roughed up. Fairly early. The 3rd inning, they got him for a couple, and then the 5th inning is just started whooping up. But I thought we'll flush that. We'll come out Saturday and be in a better place, and it got worse.
Yeah.
So the win on Sunday just really it didn't move the needle for me very much. It didn't give me very much confidence or hope in certainly going into this weekend. Now Oklahoma's not going to be a cakewalk either, but Texas has been looming large on this schedule all season.
Yeah, I mean, and it's telling when Saturday Elander's press conference, even he's saying, like, we've got to play with some pride. Like, it doesn't seem to be like, it didn't seem like on the weekend anybody wanted to be there. I mean, nobody wants to be in Lexington, but
yeah,
you got to be there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It wasn't like they went to Gainesville or something. So,
yeah,
it's not that bad. But, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think at this point, we just have to kind of hope for the best, and maybe we find some lightning in a bottle, or some, Rick Barnes can rub Elander's head or something and rub some of that postseason magic that he has off on these guys, because it's I won't say a relief, because obviously, I mean, I'm still gonna be invested in the team, and I'm still gonna be involved and hope for the best. But so I don't want to say, man, when almost a relief when the season's over, but it's just been such a roller coaster ride.
Yeah,
and a lot of people still talking about is Coach E the guy, and or he's not the guy. We should have hired this guy. We should have hired that guy, and all this stuff. But the thing that as frustrating as it is, and I get it, but how quickly we lose sight of and forget that he came in at the 11th hour and took this team over from Tony when he left.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like Tony ended last year on a high either.
Exactly. exactly. In fact, I think to a large degree we could say that team underachieved. And I know it's tough coming off a national championship and defending that. And it certainly, we certainly ran into a buzzsaw in that team from over there in Walmart country. But a lot of people felt like that team underperformed. And I think Tony did a good job with what we had and some of the struggles that we had at times with fielding, especially with base running. We couldn't throw anybody out to save our life. Yeah. So there was just a lot of things that went really well for us the previous year that have to, right? I mean, you as good and talented as a team is, you still got to have some things go your way.
Yeah.
You still got to get some breaks. You still got to have a rally against Florida State to save your season kind of thing, right? Some of that stuff just happens when you're on a run like that. And we just haven't created any breaks this season. We haven't taken advantage of any, but it's still, and we've said it time and time again, I mean, this is Coach E's first year as a head coach, and he got thrust into this. It's not like he had a whole offseason. He probably got the call as abruptly as we found out about it. Tony's leaving, and now it's his show. With very little time to really kind of get his arms and head around it before the season starts. And we said it this as well. It's a very young team, even though, yes, there are a lot of MLB prospects that chose to stay. They chose to come here, and then they chose to stay after the coaching change when they could have left. So that speaks volumes to me about Coach Elander. And we can't – we're not even a full season in, and we can't write him off. We can't write this team off or these players off. That's just unfair and, quite frankly, just irresponsible, even as a fan. Sure, be disappointed, be upset, be mad, whatever. But we can't keep beating up and making Coach Elander a scapegoat and talking about how he's just not the guy, because clearly the players think he is.
I mean, honestly, it's an unpopular opinion, but I think Tony would have had the same struggles with this team.
I think so, and maybe some of the pitching things we just don't know. We're trying to compare apples to oranges, and but we don't know. We don't know what Frank would have done. We don't know what Tony would have done. We don't know how they would have reacted or responded to certain things.
But our bullpen struggled last year too, and I think that people forget that because we made supers. Like every time we had to go to the bullpen, I was just like, here we go.
Yeah,
right?
and
this year.
And as much, I mean, I'll never badmouth players, but the only guy that we could give the ball to and kind of get what we expect was Liam Doyle.
Yeah.
Like even I love Marcus Phillips, but Marcus had issues. We never settled on a Sunday starter. And to me, that alone was a recipe for we're not going to go real far in this tournament. Because you got to have a guy you can go to when your other two, aces have pitched. You got to have that guy that you can give the ball to get you through a deciding game.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that. I felt like we did have that this year, and unfortunately, this week, none of the guys had their best stuff. So I agree. I mean, it's impossible to say what would have happened had Tony stayed, but some of the things that we've seen, I don't know that the outcome would have been much different. We may have gotten there on a different path, but I don't know that it would have changed our record that much. Maybe we salvaged the series with Vanderbilt. I don't know. It's like I don't want to sit here and just guess and say this would happen, that would happen. But
I mean,
you're 100% right. Some of the issues we've had are just youth and inexperience, and not that the moment's too big for them, but I mean, this is big league ball. This is SEC. So
I do think that Elander has done a good job of learning from his mistakes, right? When issues have popped up in games. I think he's learned really well from them. So his trajectory as a head coach, I'm excited for.
Yeah, I think it's definitely everything is up for this team.
Yeah. If he can keep the majority of this team together, obviously we're going to lose Ford and likely Marin and some others. Going to lose Coons, going to lose Arvidsson, but we're going to retain a lot of guys too, right? We're going to retain, hopefully Rudy can come back, Appenzeller, Krenzel, Mac, a sophomore. Some of the guys coming out of the pen that have been throwing midweek have been showing a lot of promise. If we can keep Clark and some of these other hitters, I like Lawless and Grinlinger. I think we will keep Grinlinger given that his brother's coming here, but we can keep them together. I think we can get right back next year. I think the talent is there. They just need a little bit more development at a high level ball. Everyone was super excited for Myatt and Brown to come in, but we also have to understand like the raw talent is there, but JUCO ball versus SEC, like Myatt's not used to seeing, some of that quality of pitching. Same with Brown. Was great at Rice, but who did Rice face last year? Right.
Exactly.
So I think like it's these kind of things that we have to consider. Just let this year be what it is. Be surprised this weekend if they pull out a win. If we've got some competitive at bats. Friday's going to be the hardest. Volantis has a 1.87 ERA. He's likely to be their Friday guy. Their Saturday guy, Riojas, I'm guessing is how you say it, 3.71. And then their Sunday guy, Harrison, 4.35.
Yeah.
So all around the 60 innings pitched. So I think, they've got to set the intention. And I don't know if they're doing this before the game or not, but in my experience, even with the players that I work with, like reminding them when you're in the on deck circle and you're matching your timing and whatnot, like what is the role that your at bat's going to play? You can't just take 3 pitches, right? You've got to go deeper into the count unless, they leave one hanging over the plate right away. But you've likely got to go deep into the count, and you've got to look at like who is on base, where are they, how many outs, what is my role? Because I feel like this team plays like a bunch of individuals. And I think that's part of the issue right now is that they want to win it for each other. So everybody's swinging at the fence, but instead of except for Garrett Wright, I would say he's the only one who's like, what is my job here consistently, seeing that pattern in him. What is my job here? How can I get on base? How can I score a run? Versus I'm just going to swing for the fence and hope to put one out to score a couple runs for the team. Right. I think the situational hitting and, sometimes it's not a bad idea when guys get in their head, they have to have the tools to slow themselves down. But when they get in their head, logically, they're going to know like, okay, this is what I need to do. But when you get in your head and your body gets sped up and your mind gets sped up, you don't have access to the logic. And that's the piece that people forget is like, they should know to do X, Y, and Z, but there's no doubt in my mind that they're feeling the pressure from the fan base, from, the coaches. So they have to have that reminder of like, hey, here's your job. That's all you have to do. Go out, have some fun, play some baseball, move a runner over, or play some ball. And against Alabama, we saw them doing that. We saw great situational hitting. Mississippi State, same thing, great situational hitting. But, the games that we've lost have not had that, hey, here's what we need to do.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that, at least for somebody like me, is frustrating because I've seen them go out there and execute. I've seen them go out there and do it. I've seen them be good situational hitters. I've seen them have good base awareness. I've seen them I guess, dialed in as much as you can analyze or, make that a thing. And then we see what we saw. I keep going back to Saturday because that's just, it is what it is. And talking about being patient and, we didn't work really any of their pitchers.
No.
Jelkin on Saturday, he pitched 8 full with the run rule. Tiffany, he only threw 105 pitches. And I say only 105 pitches. It sounds like a lot. He only threw 13 pitches an inning on average. That's fewer than major league pitchers throw. Major league pitchers average between 15 and 17 pitches per inning. He barely broke 13 pitches. And it's not to say that, if you see a good pitch, take a swing at it. But when you strike out 11, you're not very disciplined at the plate. Unless it's just an absolute superstar. And don't get me wrong, Jelkin's a good pitcher, but he's not Paul Skeens.
No.
So let's it's. I don't want to say that. That'd be wrong of me to say. Well, it's just Kentucky. But it's just Kentucky. It's not like they're out there playing against, last year's LSU or,
they didn't win a single series.
21 Mississippi State or Ole Miss or something.
We were their first SEC series win in like 4 weeks. They did not win a single series in April.
Yeah.
They swept Bama and then lost every series until they played us.
Yeah.
So, and
I don't want to be the team that people get right against. I don't ever want to be that team.
I don't know if they saw those stats and they just went in there and thought it was going to be a cakewalk. Like that's what I don't know is if there's some underestimating the lower teams than us.
Yeah, and I would guess and certainly hope that Coach Elander wouldn't allow that, especially after some of the things we saw early in the season.
The coach can say it, but that doesn't stop the players from, especially riding the high of Bama and then the run rule during the week.
Yeah, it's hard. We were both that age. All of us were that age at one time in our lives. Some of us have to think back on it a little harder than others. But even in college, playing ball, that's still not your 100% focus, right? You're still young and you've still got other things and other stuff outside of just playing ball. So who knows what goes through, the boys' minds when they, leading up to and when they're out there. But it's just frustrating when you've seen them play so well and, be so focused. And then you see what we saw this weekend, Friday, Saturday, especially. And even Sunday came down to the last batter. Like that could have been a Vanderbilt deal all over again.
Yeah.
So what we did see positive, we really had to work for and get. So I don't have a great outlook for what we're going to see this weekend. I certainly, at this point, hope we can preserve our midweek, perfect record.
Mm-hmm.
But
that'll be, we get one win this weekend would be a great Mother's Day present. I would take one win against Texas.
Yeah, it would just fill my heart with joy if we were to, at least win the series. And I know the atmosphere will be electric. I know a lot of people have had this series circled on their calendars for a long time. That we finally get Texas and Slopnoggle or whatever his name is on our turf. But Texas, they're tied for second with their big brother down in College Station for second, and Georgia still got that slight lead over the Big 12 boys. And then Mississippi State right there with they and Auburn tied for, I guess, what will be fourth. So, we've actually played pretty well against these teams that are up there. Bama's up there. Oklahoma's, they're right there with, Ole Miss, Kentucky, us, a little bit better than Peabody. But I'm sorry, I refuse to measure our success by Vanderbilt. So that's just.
I will say, I got plenty of bookmarks from the weekend because Kentucky is convinced they're going to beat us in football. So,
listen, Wednesday nights and Saturday nights, I have to hear how great Will Stein is and all these recruits that are, 4 stars that Rando likes to promote as 7 stars and 8 stars, and they would have been in the NFL if they didn't have to go to college first. And I've heard it all. And then, of course, this weekend just fuels that even more because now we've got morons out there saying that, this calendar year, Kentucky has beaten Tennessee in everything they've played. Well, congrats, bro. That's 2 basketball games and 2 baseball games. When you going to hang that banner?
Basketball season will be an interesting one for them next year.
It's certainly been an interesting offseason for them.
Yep.
And, they can throw all the no Final Fours that they want to, and we swept y'all in the regular season again, and all that's fine. I just know we've been to 3 straight Elite Eights, and we've ran into some we've either played the runner-up or the national champion in our path to get there. And that's who we've been knocked out by. We haven't been knocked out by St. Peter's, and we haven't been knocked out by Oakland, and we haven't been knocked out by, Tennessee. We've lost to teams that have been to the championship game or won the national championship. That's who ended our season in basketball.
Yeah. Not
some 2-bit mid-major that nobody even heard of and had to look them up before the tournament started. So they can talk and they can have their fun with this. That's fine. But probably getting a little over your head of your skis, Kentucky fans, if you think you're going to come into Neyland and beat us. It's only been 42 years since you've done that. So good luck.
Well,
I don't care who our quarterback is. Our defense is going to make life miserable, as it always does.
Well, like I said, I got plenty of bookmarks there. I got to cash in my UNC bookmarks today about Juke. And then Michigan's giving me a whole bunch more today. So,
yeah. I'm depressed. Not me, but as depressing as the weekend was from a baseball perspective. All you got to do is look at the transfer portal results in basketball. And, it's football, it's Tennessee, it's Kentucky. It's hard to call that a rivalry. So, speaking of Tennessee and football and Neyland Stadium. So apparently old Danny Dimes has gotten his wish. The Board of Trustees have approved the Neyland Entertainment District project.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I don't know if Danny will allow me to say Neyland Entertainment District or not. Board approved a $280 million project during the meeting. I think today. Construction will start this summer, and of course that begins with the G10 parking deck coming down in July. And apparently there are new plans in the works for parking. Don't know what those are. And of course this fun little project is going to include a hybrid condo hotel. We have those in Huntsville, in Mid-City, and a couple downtown they are quite appealing to the eye. Just don't know how I feel about it around a cathedral that is Neyland Stadium. Rooftop bar, restaurant, shops, event spaces, yada, yada, yada. So there you go, folks.
Well, NCAA also announced today that for the SEC tournament, they will allow ABS challenges, 3 challenges per coach. So not sure how Greg Sankey is going to ensure that his teams get through now, but it'll be interesting. We'll have to see some improvement in the umpiring.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is going to be, this is something that we've been calling for. I say we collectively, fans have been calling for a few years now. And it's certainly been a point of contention in Major League Baseball with the wildly variant strike zones that you see, night to night. These guys are playing, 4, 5, 6 games a week, depending on how the schedule falls. And I mean, there's just no consistency whatsoever. And we talk about, whistles in basketball, especially. Well, I tell you, strike zone can really make a huge difference with how, how a pitcher's outing goes, because you're not getting the call, then you start forcing things, and that's when you start leaving pitches over the plate and things like that. So I'm very interested and curious to see how this is gonna unfold and how it's used.
Yeah.
Because with only 3, the average game, I think somewhere around 145 pitches, something like that. You're going to have to be pretty planful and deliberate methodical with how you use these. So
there have been some, and this isn't even just as a Tennessee fan, like even when we played LSU, like some of the strikes that were called on LSU or in games that Tennessee wasn't playing that we were watching, there was some questionable, like very obviously questionable calls. So it'll be interesting to see how it forces the umpires to level up.
Yeah. And, we've gone within the past, few seasons, we've gone with, instant replays for, tags and beating the runner to the base and things as such. And that seemed to be, pretty beneficial. So we've all asked for this. So we'll see if we get what we asked for, because sometimes you have to be careful with that.
So is it, I didn't read the full rule, but is it similar to the challenges now where they get 3, but if they're right, they retain that one, or is it just 3 right or wrong?
My understanding of it is you get 3, right, okay, wrong, or indifferent. You get 3. I don't think you get awarded an additional, but don't hold me to that. Don't quote me on that, because I haven't seen anything either way.
All right. Well, we'll find out during the tournament, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Because that'll be a very hot topic of conversation. I'm sure the announcers, commentators will be all over that, and will paint us a pretty clear picture of what that's going to look like, because, we've never seen this before in college baseball.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're kind of setting that trend. I hope it goes well. I hope it is beneficial. I can't imagine it wouldn't be, as long as our replay people and or not our replay people, they're really not involved, but the software people don't screw it up.
Yeah.
Then I think only good can come from it. It's going to be very interesting when we see a coach use his last challenge and then a very controversial pitch happens and he doesn't have any recourse. So, because I wouldn't want to piss the umpires off. That's just me.
This is true.
So we will see. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about our spreadsheet. So,
I mean, there's not really.
Is there anything worth talking about?
We're at 220 runners stranded for the year.
Oh, that's so bad.
164 in SEC play.
Oh my gosh, that is terrible. That is so bad.
So 34 stolen bases against, 31 stolen bases for. So that was a better stat than I expected. Thrown out 12, picked off 5, 54 hit batters on the season.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. So we definitely need to work on that piece for sure. So that would put us at, it doesn't look like NCAA is updated since the weekend. But yeah, so not good there.
Did you say how many home runs? Did I miss it?
We are sitting at, sitting at 87 home runs on the year.
Okay.
So this time last
correct.
year.
Yeah.
Let's see. This time last year. I would love to see Grimmer get hot again. He has been
Yes.
a little bit cold.
Ford and Grimmer and Wright. Clark
Well, at least they've been
stay
getting
hot.
on base. I mean, I'll check in a second after I give you this comparison, but Grimmer has just not even had competitive at bats. We were at 102 this time last year.
Okay, so not terribly off the pace because we had Andrew Fisher just absolutely raking.
Yeah.
As the season the season went on, so that's not terrible because it doesn't seem like we're even close to being on pace with last year, and we're not too far off pace.
So I mean, Grimmer had 1 hit over the weekend against Bama. He had 4. Against Ole Miss, he had 5. So he's kind of gone cold since the Ole Miss series. But yeah, he had 1 hit. He had no walks. So I mean, he was only on base once against Kentucky.
Jeez.
So both Friday and Saturday, just Saturday, we didn't have any walks. So, and that was that complete game. So,
yeah,
I would love to see Grimmer get going again. He's the one. I mean, Grinlinger only had 1 hit for the weekend, too.
Yeah, we need to get out the rum and serve up Joe Boo. I don't know what else to do at this point.
Yeah. So Ford had 4 over the weekend. Brown had 3. Clark had 5. Chapman 3. Lawless 1. Marin 2. Grinlinger 1. Grimmer 1. Wright 4. So those guys have kind of gone cold in the lineup too. So we need Grimmer's bat back for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just kind of looking over the projected field of 64, and I don't think there's been any change to the host sites. It looks like everybody has kind of held serve there. A little bit of movement in the seating, but I mentioned before we're still sitting at a 3 seed in Tallahassee with Florida State, of course, Missouri State, and North Florida. So I can't say I would rather be in this region or that region at this point, because right now I don't think it much matters if we're not going to be able to hit the baseball. Doesn't matter where we go.
Yeah.
So I'll just keep an eye on that, and then we'll see how things how things play out. If we can get 2 of 3 from Texas, I'll feel a lot better about going into postseason, no matter what happens at Oklahoma, because, even though we go to Starkville and sweep, it's tough to play on the road. Everybody knows that. So hopefully we get a little back on track, wake some bats up, and our pitchers don't absolutely melt down on us against Tejas. So, all right.
Yes.
Well,
an interesting weekend for sure.
Yeah. Fantastic job. I wish it was better content, but
it's actually really hard to do a spreadsheet. It's really hard to do a spreadsheet after weekends like this. Like, I'm just like, I just don't care.
I know, right? It's so disheartening and tough to find that motivation to plug in all those zeros. Makes the math easier, but doesn't do much for the mindset or the psyche of being in a positive state of mind. So, but in any event, well, thank you as always, Tiffany.
Oh, I must have missed a couple. We actually have 57 hit batters.
Oh, 57?
Yeah, not 54. So
that was 3 more, right?
At this point, everybody gets a hit.
Yeah. You get a free base, and you get a free base. Everybody gets a free base. So ridiculous. Well, all right. Well, unfortunately, I will be absent next week. On Monday, I will be leaving Saturday and heading to fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada for a nice little week stay out in the desert. So hopefully thank you. I certainly expect to. So when we reconvene the following week, we'll have wrapped up our regular season. Should know more about where we stand postseason and what position we're going to be in for the field of 64. So, well, happy Mother's Day, because I won't probably see you before then. And to everybody, all the mothers out there, none of us will be here without you. So make sure, fellas, you take care of your ladies, and don't try that. She's not my mother stuff, because I promise you that's not going to work out well for you.
And if you forgot, this weekend's Mother's Day.
Oh, is it? Oh gosh.
So
you're welcome, America.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in, Tiffany. As always, thank you for all that you contribute with the spreadsheet analysis. My educational background is psychology, so I always appreciate your analysis from that standpoint, and just always cool hanging out with you. So again, thank you so much, and we will see you 2 weeks from tonight.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
As always, go Vols.
Go Vols.